with Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts.
So here we are at the, what's it called, guys?
It's the GMT Club.
GMT Club.
Manchester.
White House, Manchester.
General Manchester Transport.
And tonight we're starring a shooter. And so we thought we'd take a little bit of time to talk to the guys before they went on stage. And who should we start with?
Start with Mike.
Start with Mike.
He's got a nice story to tell you. He's found something out today, he's been told.
Oh no. What's that?
About his daughter.
Oh dear. Yeah, my daughter's had a tattoo on her leg, a picture of me.
Picture of you?
From 1972, yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm Mike, I'm the bass player.
And how long have you been with Shooter?
I've been with the Shooter nearly 4 years now.
4 years?
Yeah.
Where did you come from?
What, previously?
Yeah, which of the bands?
Around and about, mainly playing on the folk scene in Cayley bands and stuff like that, but I started in the 60s like everybody else and been in and out of bands. I think the last count I've been in 17 different bands.
17 bands?
You play with Raphael, you play with Bonnie Raitt.
That's right, yeah.
So do you think you'll stick this one then?
Oh yes, definitely, yeah. Yes, yes. This will see me through to my retirement, I think.
Well, and you like sort of folk music, do you? Music?
Not particularly, but I like the guys I was playing the stuff with.
Right.
It's just one of the different types. But I'm back to my roots now. This is playing the 60s and the rock and roll. That's the stuff I grew up with in my youth, and I'm back to playing it now because it's what I feel comfortable and what I enjoy.
Oh, terrific. Okay. Now we'll move on to the Winsford drummer.
Yeah.
The Winsford Wizard, the Wizard from Winsford.
Wizard from Winsford.
And it's
Jeff with a J.
Jeff with a J.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeff.
Well, I'm the drummer. Powerhouse of the band.
Well, we got that bit.
Yeah.
So how did you get mixed up with these characters then?
Well, I was looking for a band and I saw the ad and I came down and they were turned down by 40 other drummers before.
40 other drummers? That's not true, is
So
it?
yeah, I joined and I've gone away and come back a couple of times, like a bad penny. And there you go, yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
And you're a 60s man too, you like 60s music?
Yeah, I like a lot of soul, a lot of early 70s funk as well, and some 80s stuff as well, and everything really, nothing too modern, no, you know, a lot of good stuff.
Would you like travelling around with the band? Because the band goes all over UK, doesn't it?
It does, but Mike's a bit hyperactive when we're in the band, and he doesn't shut up talking. So I put him in the middle.
It's not true, it's him, sir. Put the record straight.
It's often been seen that I'm driving along and Jeff's talking away to Mike, 10 to a dozen, and Mike's fast asleep.
Yeah. He actually contributes more when he's fast asleep.
He has that effect.
It's a little prematurely, this is Keith Hubbard, the founder of Shooter, the organiser, the boss, the one who takes the lion's share of the money and doesn't tell the others, is that right?
The one with all the debts and all the
Headaches. What's up with all the crap?
And Keith, you were in Hair, weren't you, in the 60s? Yeah. And you played in the London production?
Say that again.
The London production?
I was on the production.
Yeah. And so you played in the West End?
Played at West End on tour all over the country, yeah.
Wow.
Major theatres.
But that wasn't the end of it, was it? You went provincial then, and you took it around the country, and
All the major theatres, yeah.
and then you went on to be a rock and roll star, I believe. Is that right? With Chicory Tip, was it? Chicory?
I wouldn't call that rock and roll.
Well,
I call that just earning a living.
Chicory Tip had a major hit, didn't it?
That's Son of My Father. Well, they had 4 hits altogether. Son of My Father, Good Week Casino, What's Your Name, and then all over Europe. But it was banned in this country. BBC wouldn't play it, called Cigarettes, Women and Wine.
Cigarettes, Women and Wine?
None of those
Massive.
things.
That's just about the time I joined them.
That's not the one that Carl Terry does now, is it?
No, that's not.
Cigarettes, cold beer and sexy ladies. No, that's not. And then
It's the hay fever.
Then when I was in your studio the other week, I walked past a picture of this hippie. Because you were in a bit of a hippie band as well, weren't you?
That's a long time ago. A long time ago.
Come on, spill the beans for the man.
So what was that band called?
That was Caliban.
Caliban. I'll just clarify that for the watchers here. It's not Taliban, it's
Not
Caliban.
the Taliban, it's Caliban from Shakespeare, a deformed being of evil nature from The Tempest.
And you did quite
Suited
well,
the band.
because your claim to fame is that you played in a rather special way at the Cavern.
Oh yeah, the band was on the last night of the original Cavern played on the next to the last band to play on the original Cavern stage.
But you, with your other bands, with Ricky Gleason and the Top Spots, you played all three?
The Rebels and Ricky
Ian
Gleason,
and the
Top
Rebels.
Spots, Caliban, and then again now with Shooter, played all 4 Cavern stages, and there's not many have done that.
You're probably the only one. But and what's in? You've been doing Shooter now for what, about 20 years, is it?
Shooter's been going since the end of 1983,
Wow.
so 27 years.
27 years.
13 different lineups. 13 different lineups.
And Jeff was telling me that you've nearly got the first part of the act right. No, not true. Only joking.
It's live music, it changes
It's all
every week.
live. It's all
So, what's the best gig you've ever done as Shooter?
best gig I ever did with Shooter. That's a difficult one.
Because you used to do the Open Golf Championships.
Used to the Open Golf Championships, yeah, they were good gigs, but they were full theme nights, and our show would just be a gig. I'm trying to think what would be the best gig Shooter's done. I would say being on centre stage at the 60s festival at Bognor Regis, Butlins, 3,000 people, and it was just an absolute magic set. Everything went right, it was brilliant, great set. And then doing the Billy Butler radio show, a Cable One television show, which was that was another great gig. We've had a few good ones ourselves, haven't we? Round and about, just ordinary.
So what about
gigs.
you guys? What's your recollection of the best gigs?
With Shooter or in general? Or
Well, in general would be great, but
with
Shooter
Shooter,
preferably.
Oh, with Shooter, most of, I mean, to be fair, as I always say to the guys, I've never really had a really bad gig. You always take something that's really good.
Yeah.
I think the first couple of gigs you're sort of feeling your way, so you don't really enjoy that, you're just sort of trying to get through them. But once you're sort of bedded in, you know, there's usually something that you think, oh, that's a fantastic gig, you know, that was, you know, this was great. Some gigs the whole night's great, some gigs the first set's fantastic, the second one goes vice versa, but don't you? But, you know, you sometimes have the odd moment which is brilliant, but I would say 99% of the gigs have been, you know, there's always something, even if at the time you felt it's been a so-so gig, you wake up and say, yeah, it wasn't too bad, it was a good gig, you know, or the band's been brilliant, but the audience, or you know.
Going back in the Cavern was quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was quite good. Going back in the Cavern after all this time, and 27 years of Shooter going, it was the first time that they played back in, you know, as a 60s band, actually going into the Cavern. So that was quite good. Enjoyed that.
So when was that?
That was last year, something like
Just
that.
last year.
It was a year ago next week. A year ago this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday night, so you're 2 days out. Two days out to that. Well, that was a good gig, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
What was that? What type of gig was that? Was it a
Just a sort of Sunday night gig.
Sunday night gig? Wow, okay. Better than the Shakers, huh? Okay, well you're just about due to go on now, I think, so thanks very much for your time, and we'll record some of the music.
The crowd's waiting.
Yeah.
Great
They're
stuff.
getting wound up. The bingo's on.
The bingo!
That's rock and roll.